and welcome to the first episode of Cheap Shot Culture with myself, Phil Taylor, not to be confused with the darts player, and accompanied by Mr. Bob Ricks, who is often confused.
Very much so.
Bob, do you want to explain a bit about what Cheap Shot Culture is and what we're going to be looking to do? And
yeah, so it's come about because we've had many a phone call, even if it's after a weekend of football or maybe something that's happened in the world of wrestling. Two things that we highly enjoy. And we just thought it might be ideal to get it out there for people to see if they like it or not, and just see what our views are on stuff.
Cool. Hopefully viewers will find something entertaining, but I'm pretty sure that we'll find it entertaining ourselves.
Yeah, I think
if
so.
everyone else enjoys it, then that's better. We sort of like from a wrestling background, big United fans, aren't we?
Yeah.
So we'll be talking plenty about that. I help run a wrestling group on Facebook. The link will be in the description. And also I help run, I'm wondering whether anybody watching has heard of him, called The Heel Project, run by Alex and Pete and Dan, a great bunch of lads. And the link for them will be in the description as well. So hopefully if you can check those out, it will be very much appreciated. Cheers. So where do we start?
I think there's only one place to start.
There is.
Probably, I think it's only right that we touch upon it. I think as we go on to it, I think it's only right that I put this on as well. And we've spoke about this many a time. We're trying to, we want this to be as unbiased as we possibly can do. But I think with what's gone on this weekend, it's pretty hard not to have our own personal views of what's gone on. So if you've been living under a rock and you love football, you may have missed that on Sunday, a massive protest outside of Old Trafford before Man United faced the Liverpool over the European Super League and mainly the ownership of the Glazers. So, Phil, what's your thoughts on the whole protest?
So it was obviously all over Twitter that it was going to happen. I probably should have gone, and I'm kind of disappointed in myself that I didn't go. For other circumstances that I obviously don't really want to go into at the moment, but it just wasn't possible for me to go, and I'm really disappointed that I didn't go. I'm not sure whether it was planned, but I'm not particularly happy with the fact that they went onto the pitch. So like the breaking in and all that kind of thing. I'm not really for that. For me, I would have been quite happy to just been outside the ground, stayed there throughout the whole game, and then come away. Don't get it confused with the Super League. It's a combination of just bad ownership since day one, really. And obviously the Super League aspect of it all is it's the straw that broke the camel's back kind of thing. So it's just all come into one. I mean, United fans have just had enough. I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I was in work, so I didn't see it on Twitter. I had no idea what was happening. I was in work, ready to finish at R3 and get myself home and sit in front of the TV, ready to watch the game. And it wasn't until I was just finishing did I see it all over the internet of what's going on. And yeah, I agree. It should have just been outside the ground. The first bunch of people got onto the pitch, they got off there quite quickly. But yeah, I don't think there was any way that game was going to go ahead.
I don't know. I think when I see Michael Oliver get in there eventually, I kind of thought, right, okay, so the plan is for the game to go ahead. But I'm guessing that the reason that it didn't was the rumor is that they got into the tunnel and the changing rooms, which is part of is it the COVID red zone?
Yeah.
So
I don't know. It's a bit interesting. It's a weird one, shall we say? Because for me, I agree. When I seen that Michael Oliver was finally in the ground, I was thinking maybe a 6-6 kickoff.
Yeah.
But then we don't know really too much for what was going on at the team hotel.
No, those details haven't really come out, have they?
No, I heard a rumour that Harry Maguire and Bruno Fernandes really wanted to get out.
Yeah.
And actually speak to the fans that were outside the hotel, but they weren't allowed to. Probably again for safety regulations and make sure that they're safe. I don't want to sound like horrible towards like Sky now, but I did have a feeling that if that wasn't shown on TV, that game probably would have gone ahead. I think the fact that they had Tottenham versus Sheffield United scheduled in afterwards, there was no way that they were going to push that game back.
It was more like a television thing than it was. Oh, okay.
I have a feeling, yeah. I just think, if that game got pushed back to say 7:30, that Sheffield United and Tottenham matches on, and the only thing they could do is put it on 2 different channels, and I don't think they would really wanted to do that to try and get the full coverage from everyone. So I do have that as a feeling, but no, I don't condone people getting onto the pitch and sort of be seeing the guy throwing the camera and stuff like that. I don't.
If you was there, would you have? I kind of think, you know me, you've been to games with me, you know how angry and wound up I can get. And it's common.
You would have been on there.
I probably would have done, to be fair. But I wouldn't have been doing.
You don't throw something at Graham Souness.
Funnily enough, you should mention Graham. So my dad just sent me a video of United fans chanting that when they broke in the ground, they was chanting it. Keno and all them, and Liverpool I get, but it's a bit naughty really what they did. All that was unnecessary, and obviously the stuff that went on outside the ground with the police, and that was all unnecessary. And I don't think it was what was originally supposed to happen. But there's always idiots in there. So
there's always going to be the odd one that's going to cause a bit of a problem while they're there, take it out of hand. I don't know if you've seen last night, I only read it on social media, what Jamie Carragher sort of stated on Monday Night Football. He sort of had that little dig at Graham Souness while we had the conversation about him, because he was trying to explain that, we wouldn't protest if we were, say, like Manchester City are, who are obviously top of the league and in a second leg semi-final of the Champions League tonight.
I don't know what that says more about Graham Souness, the fact that he just hates United so much, or the fact that he's just completely uneducated when it comes to football these days. Because this has been going. I remember, and the pictures have been circulating. If you remember the game, I think we played Milan back in 2010. The scarves are out. Beck's walking off the pitch with a scarf around his neck, clapping the fans as a sign of I'm on your side. It's been going on for years. It's just come because of the Super League. Probably would have happened further on down the line, I think, as the team, maybe the facilities and the things around the team came into decline a bit more, and the money kept coming out of the club. I think it probably would have happened, but the Super League's definitely escalated it.
Yeah, I think it's a silly idea, and I don't really want to touch too much about it because we could go on for hours about the Super League. But I think, we've heard Gary Neville talk about it, about the stadium being quite rusty. The training ground is actually below par now compared to other training grounds. There's nothing wrong with it, but compare it to like Leicester's training ground, which is unbelievable. And I think as a United fan, I think it's seeing the money that's coming out, to the Glazer family themselves, and thinking, well, they've just spent so much on the other team in America to try and get them to win the Super Bowl, which they did. Was did that come about because they're not pumping money into United as much as they can, as we would like them to? They have pumped money into it, and we can't say otherwise. They have gone and we bought Bruno and so on. But we're looking at people like Jadon Sancho in the summer last year.
Yeah.
They were willing to pay it, but is that a case of because they didn't want to because the money was getting pumped in somewhere else overseas? So it's a difficult one, and we'll never know.
You just don't know.
But do you think that they're going to sell?
At this present moment in time, no. There's United Supporters Trust sent out a letter to Joel Glazer. Have you read it?
Not fully, no.
Basically, there's 4 main points of what the Supporters Trust, the fans, want to see, and they've demanded a response by Friday in writing, in public. So we'll wait and see what happens there. But in terms of selling at the moment, no, I don't think. And then to sort of like counterbalance the argument, if we said, we'll be unbiased, that's what we'll do. So they have invested in players when we've needed. Even going back to Fergie days, they've stumped up the money for the players.
Yeah.
We've won European Cups, we've won leagues, we've won numerous amount of trophies under their ownership. So for that side, you can kind of, it's hard that you want to see that, but more of it. I think you want them to be the name that they are. You want them to be buying the players that are out there that everybody wants to sign, because that's what clubs like Man United do. It's the business side of it. It's the ownership of it that in America, with the franchise with the Tampa Bay, works fine. Works fine for them. Doesn't work over here. So I'd say, I don't know what you think, I'm happy for them to stay in charge, but there needs to be a massive overhaul, a complete restructure of how they run that business. Get the right people in to deal with the football side of things, and get the right people to get into the business side of things, and try and reduce this debt at the same time, investing desperately in what the club needs, which is updating the ground, updating all the facilities, and then the training ground and all that kind of stuff as well. I don't know, what do you think?
Yeah, because we've been to many a game at Old Trafford, and I'd still run up there as one of the greatest stadiums in England, potentially in the world. But you go behind what people don't see, that don't go to games. So you go past the seating and the actual structure of the outside of it, and it's very dated. In the you're looking now at Tottenham Stadium, which is unbelievable. Even like behind the seats is just second to none, and you've got old school turnstiles still, and it gives you that feeling of going to a football game, and probably to the older generation, it brings back memories for them. But we do need to move with some of the times now. And you mentioned there about the restructure of the club and who runs it, and we know that Ed Woodward is leaving the post, left the post. So I just before we started, there was an article that I read, and I don't know how true it is. Apparently, Edwin van der Sar has spoken to ESPN, and there's only 2 clubs that he would ever work for. Ajax, who he's currently working for, and ourselves in Manchester United, but he's not been approached yet to take over that sort of running of the football club, as many people have stated. Would you think that's a really good appointment?
Yeah, why not? I think the more ex-players that get involved in the running of the club, especially on the football side of things, the day-to-day running of all that, can only be a good thing, because those are the players that know exactly what it means to play for Man United. Those are the people that know exactly what it takes to be a success at United, and that's what you want to be bringing through to the young kids. There's people been put in charge. Is it, I forget his name now. Is it Richard?
Let me have a quick. I think it's so. I know the.
Darren Fletcher's just been employed as he's had a promotion, shall we say? And then there's a director in there at the moment as well. I forget the name now.
Yeah, John. Is it John Merto or something like that?
Yeah.
He's took over that sort of technical director type of football director. So I've got it here.
Gone down quite well, especially with the likes of Nicky Butt, who then decided that he's off. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a strange one really, because you like we've said, Darren Fletcher's now the technical director, and you've got the likes of Michael Carrick, who's up there as assistant manager, Ollie as manager, Mike Phelan's still there. But even when you go further back, you've got still, as a board member, you've still got Bobby Charlton, you've still got Alex Ferguson and David Gill. And it's one of them things for me, like, and I know they've said that when they retired, they didn't want to sort of have too much say into the club, but surely as a United fan and a manager for so many years and seen success, you would think they would have enough views there to sort of push and tempt the likes of Edwin van der Sar to come over.
Just to sort of to end to the United discussion with the Glazers and all that, there's not enough emphasis on how good a job David Gill did, and how much he's missed at the club. In the same, for the football side of it, Ferguson was the best.
Yeah.
The other side of it, the business side of it, in terms of your transfers and all that kind of stuff, David Gill was amazing. Doesn't get enough for my liking.
And before, again, my last thing that I want to say on this, and it sort of touches into that unbiased thing that we wanted to say. As a businessman, and what Ed Woodward did for the business side of the club, you look at the sponsorships we've had come through, or the Adidas, now going into this team viewer, the business side of things that he's done is unbelievable, and we can only thank him for it. The problem is it was a businessman trying to run a football club, and that was the problem.
When you're going in for Ander Herrera, for example, something happens, and then you don't end up buying him until the following season.
Yeah,
almost not right. We shall see. We shall see what happens. See what Friday brings.
Yes,
and we'll go from there. Cool.
I'll take that off now.
I'll
take that off now. We've had that discussion. We'll end it there.
Cool.
Obviously, let's talk about other things that have happened in football. So this week we've got the Champions League semi-final second legs.
Yeah.
So a PSG versus Manchester City.
Yeah.
City going in with a 2-1 lead, I think, if I'm right. Yeah. I didn't watch the first leg. And then we've got Real Madrid Chelsea, which did that finish 1-1? Again, I didn't really watch it.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Okay. Who do you think is going to get to the final?
It did. You can't really begrudge City the European Cup win, can you? As much as we're massive United fans and hate City and hate Liverpool and all that, do we really? When it comes to sort of, you sometimes you just have to just be honest. And for as bad as we've been investing, City have just been magnificent. You can't take away from what they've done.
Yeah,
it's like watching United of the 90s and the early 2000s, how they built it all up and how they dominated, and they need this European Cup to cap it all off for me. And I wouldn't begrudge them of it at all.
No, I'll say again, I don't want them to. But, and that's just because it's always something that we can say we've won and they haven't. But yeah, it pains me to say they are one hell of a team. The fact that you can rest 11 players and still have a 200 million first 11 to win your game is fantastic. And but we can't say anything about PSG, former finalists last year, arguably got two of the greatest players of greatest player of the past couple of years, one that's going to go on and hit the heights that he probably deserves in Mbappe, and you can't rule them out. We know that too well as United fans. You can never say never. I don't know if you've seen this today, and I thought it was quite hilarious that Fergie was spotted going to PSG's team hotel. It's like he's gone there, not winning it. I'll take this into my own hands. Which is just unbelievable. If that's, it might have just been a coincidence that he was there. But
odd, isn't it? It's a bit odd. Just randomly just starts talking to the PSG directors and owners. I'm not weird. That for me, I think something's going on.
It's weird. Do the PSG owners want to have a hand in a team in the Premier League? We never know. But no, it's one of them things. If he's gone there, it's just what better manager ever to get you riled up for a big game as a guy who riled up 11 people. If he could get like the likes of Raphael to in a team and beat Arsenal 8-2, then you can turn anyone around.
Awesome.
But you know what I mean. If anyone can do it, he'll do it. But yeah, I can't see past 60. If they were well played to them, they deserve it.
It's the 4 English teams for me. I think that's what it will be. I think City will go through. I think Chelsea will go through, and obviously we are pretty much there, aren't we, in the Europa final? And then you'd expect Arsenal to do something at home.
Same thing that happened was it two seasons ago when Liverpool won that, and I think it was Chelsea won the Europa League. So,
who would you rather face? Who would you rather have? Would you rather have Villarreal or Arsenal?
Probably Villarreal, but that's more of a just because I've seen the way we face the top 6 sides or the top 6 sides this season. I've seen how we've been against them, and it does worry me when we face them. But Arsenal not being the best at home, they've got their own owner problems and potentially new owner and Spotify owner, and it's a weird. I couldn't if I had a choice for Real, but that's just again, I don't watch too much Spanish football, and I didn't watch their game because our game was on at the same time. So I don't know too much about them.
So I picked my 4 for the finals. Then who are you going with?
I'm going to go for Manchester City. I'm going to go for Real Madrid. I feel Zidane he's done it before against the odds when they won against Liverpool at Kiev, was it? I think they won it. I just got a feeling they may just get it.
Cool. So the big news from today,
in terms of well, I just want to touch upon that, which was sort of it leads on from the Europa League, which is obviously who we face, which is Roma. Mourinho from next season taking charge of that. How do you think he'll get on? What do you think of the news?
So over Mourinho. I'm so over him. For me, he's just took the easy way out. I just think he just does well in Italy. I think it just suits him. I think the way he'll go over there and he'll set them up suits him down to the ground. So I expect him to be successful. But I'm not surprised, with no disrespect to Roma, and I hope this doesn't come back to bite me on the backside. I'm not surprised that not a bigger club hasn't come in for him. I just think he's so outdated. Yes, he's won trophies with us. Yes, he's won trophies wherever he's been. I just think his style of football is it's dull, it's miserable, it's watching Spurs like this season. It's just been awful.
But it's a weird one, really, because when he first took over at Spurs, they looked unstoppable. They beat us 6-1. Kane and Son were on fire. They beat Arsenal in the London derby, and then something happened. Like everything happens when he has a club, something happens, and we never know what it is. you know, you look at the time that he had with us, and again, fantastic what he did for us, the Europa League win and stuff like that. Second in the Premier League, so good for us. But then, the relationship fallout with Pogba, which, let's be honest, and I'm going to say this, and not many people have been picking up on it. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has not had any of these problems, and he's been at the club for what, two seasons now.
Yeah.
You don't hear about him and man management going out the window. He's doing something fantastic at the club, and he doesn't get the plaudits that I think he deserves over that side of it.
I mean, we've both been super critical of Ollie at times, but when you sort of like analyse it, it's probably more the players that are have not achieved more than, I think tactically. I think Ollie's brilliant, but there's just things. That's probably what's happened. I think Mourinho's caused upset somewhere. Lost the dressing room as he always does.
Well, you've seen his treatment of Gareth Bale. Brings him over on loan, and there's a video of him calling him out or in training, asking if he's going to go back to Madrid. And I just don't think he's done that. So something's happened there. But say that, Tottenham are now 6th, only 2 points behind 5th place.
Mason in.
Yeah, Ryan Mason. It's a weird one. For me, it was a weird appointment. I thought if anyone was going to get it as a short term, it might have been Ledley King. But
you know what? I think anybody from the football club. I think this. My dad always talks about it because my dad's old school. He goes way back where football's concerned, and he, obviously, like when he was growing up, United had their time, but it was mostly Liverpool, and it was always bringing somebody in from within the club, and that was over.
Yeah.
Bring somebody else in. There's so much to be said for having club people around you. There's nothing to stop Ryan Mason from doing a good job, I don't think. If he manages to get him into a European, give it him.
Yeah, because I wanted to touch upon sort of the top 5 type of thing, and for me, it goes Manchester City top of the league for obvious reasons. All we need now is 3 points, and we can't not come out the top 4.
Yeah.
So I think we're 2nd. I actually think that Chelsea will get 3rd, and I think Leicester will get 4th.
Right. Okay.
I just think Leicester are hitting a little bit of form now, as well. Beat us in the semi-final of the FA Cup, for the quarter-final of the FA Cup. Sorry. I think they're hitting the form at the right point, and I think the 5th place is just a hopeful one because I just love to see it happen, and I think they deserve it.
What's that?
I've gone for West Ham.
Yeah.
I think they just deserve it for me.
I think hasn't David Moyes won Manager of the Year?
I think so. Yeah. And rightfully so. I do feel that they thrived having no fans, and that's no disrespect to any West Ham fan out there. But I think they've thrived against having no fans, where the likes of poor Sheffield United have really struggled having no fans there and their big games at home.
I think for me, fans or no fans, I think they would have struggled this season.
I don't think they would have struggled as much as they did.
I think.
No, I think you look at the bottom 3 teams, and Sheffield United, they've all won the same amount of games. Fulham have won 5, West Brom have won 5, Sheffield United have won 5. It's just the other 2 teams have drew a few more games, and they've been able to grind out a result when it's been a 0-0, 1-1, where Sheffield United have really struggled, and fair play to them for beating us. But I just think they've struggled because they've not had sort of in those big games at Bramall Lane, really on top here, and Old School Stadium. I think they've really struggled. I'd also say the likes of Leeds have struggled a little bit, and not struggled in terms of getting results. I just think in first season back in the Prem, can imagine the atmosphere, especially on the weekend, last weekend against us. I can just imagine what the atmosphere would have been like.
So my top five, I think, obviously City. I still think we'll finish second, but I think it'll be close. I don't think Leicester are going to bottle it. I think Leicester will finish third, and I think Chelsea will finish fourth. And I think fifth will be Liverpool. I think they'll scrape it in. What would you take? Second place, no trophy, or fourth place and the Europa League?
Depends who wins the Europa League. I think if Arsenal win the final, any day of the week I'd want to win it.
Right.
And also, I do want to win it, and I want to win a trophy. And I think that we had this discussion the other day of those players deserve a trophy.
You do. So I'm kind of I'd sacrifice second for a trophy. I think. And obviously, I'd want both. I'd want second place and a trophy. But if we could only have one, the Europa League is going to guarantee us Champions League anyway. But as long as we're in the top four and we win a trophy, and then a big summer transfer wise, I don't be surprised if we go close next season. That's what I'm saying.
Depends who we bring in. That's all I'm saying on that one. Depends who we bring in. Yeah, I want to win a trophy. That's the end of it, really. I want to win a trophy.
Yeah, definitely. I think Ollie deserves a trophy. I think the squad deserves a trophy. The fans deserve a trophy. More importantly, it's been a while. So yeah.
Fingers crossed to be fans in there for the final as well. Actually be able to get in there. I'm actually not seeing when the final
it's in Gdansk in Poland. I'm not sure of the date, but I don't think their COVID issues are that bad. So I think there's a possibility that fans might go. So which would be good.
Fingers crossed. And I think potentially again, depending on of the levels of COVID and stuff, you never know what they might do in terms of the final. They may move them to get fans in.
Yeah,
Wembley's always there for them.
Common sense, you'd think, would be that if it does end up being United and Arsenal, then just play it in this country.
Yeah.
Cut all that travelling nonsense out. It would make sense. They won't do it.
Yeah.
They never do anything that's common sense.
Wishful thinking.
I'm being a bit too critical there because last season they brought it all in Germany, didn't they? I don't know. We'll see.
And actually, and I think this would be a really perfect thing to finish on in terms of last year and their common sense. Did you enjoy the one-legged games?
Yeah.
I wanted that to stay. I thought it added something to that game. You look at the likes of, and I touched on Leon last year against City.
Yeah.
One leg, went all out, knocked them out. I thought one-legged games to me should stay. But again, they're never going to do it. There's too much money involved in it and stuff. But
unfortunately, now the way football is, money.
But no, I think it's going to be an interesting couple of weeks now. You got the Champions Leagues and that tonight, and Europa Leagues and stuff like that, and the end of that Premier League as well. So it's going to be really interesting. I'm looking forward to it, and hopefully we'll get to see Man United versus Liverpool at some point. And hopefully it's not the. No, I've just got this horrible feeling that they're going to wait until Thursday and then decide from there. See if we do get through, which, again, fingers crossed, it's all ready and done anyway, and just try and fit it in somewhere.
It seems to be the only date that they can really do it is around about the 15th and the 16th, which is okay for us, but for Liverpool, I think they play on the 16th. So I can't imagine it's going to go down very well if they have to play a game on the 15th and then the 16th. I don't know what they're going to
No.
do.
The ideal date was yesterday, really. in the nicest way, it should have just been played yesterday.
Yeah, I found that a little bit odd that they didn't. Could they have not maybe played it 8 o'clock on the Sunday? Could they not have? You know,
I don't know.
We'll see. Be interesting to see. They may punish us and look to fit it in where it's of a detriment to us in terms of the running.
Yeah. And you know what?
Justifiably so.
Yeah.
But fall for a greater cause.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, so I think it was a really nice way to end that for today. And again, just to put into just some perspective in terms of how this is going to look. Tuesdays, we're going to be pretty much always talking about the weekend's football and what's coming up. And then when we get into the summer months, we're going to be talking about the Euros, any transfer news, any big stuff that's coming out while there's a season break. And then on a Saturday evening, we're going to be talking all things wrestling. So we're talking Raw, NXT, AEW, SmackDown, and any news that's come out that week as well. So you want 2 lots of videos a week, and trying to hit all aspects of people's interests. But like Phil said at the start, you know, all the links and descriptions for the Facebook groups, for the Heal Project as well. So really go and look at them. Ourselves, we've got our own Facebook group just to sort of promote the YouTube channel as well. But yeah, go and like that page as well, just so you're up to date, and obviously for the people out there to like this video and to subscribe to the channel as well.
Much appreciated. Thank you very much. Cheers, mate. Nice one.
Right.
Enjoyed that.
Very much so, and I will speak to you on Saturday.
Yes, you will. And for everybody for watching, thank you very much indeed, and we'll see you soon.